Hello everyone, this is Professor Robert Matos with the fourth video of the course English Grammar. Today we'll be exploring the parts of the sentence, and this is the second unit of that book. Here we're going to be analyzing the sentence in the first two parts it has, which is the subject and the predicate, and identifying these two parts of the sentence. Also, we will say what characteristics we have in those two parts, both the subject and the predicate. Two other things we're going to be exploring are the complements, both the verb complements and the object complement. Let's begin right away. So the first thing to discuss is what is a sentence. A sentence is a group of words written in an organized order or syntax to express a complete thought. I say that because if you do not organize the words, they might not express a complete thought, or maybe the message won't be understood. Okay, we have examples of different sentences. You know that we have exclamative sentences, such as the one silence, but we also have questions, even though I didn't include them here. And we have negative and affirmative sentences. Here, the three remaining examples I am providing are of affirmative sentences. I speak English is the second. I often speak English with my classmates at school in the morning. And the students that listen to us get surprised because of the good pronunciation we have. As you can notice, they are four different sentences, has four structure. And what I'm saying here is that they are different in length, but they have the main parts. They all have the main two parts that I'm gonna be explaining as follows. First, in your book you're gonna find this, which is an explanation of a definition of what the sentence is, then the subject and the predicate, what they are, because they are the two basic parts in a sentence. A sentence has two basic parts that are the subject and the predicate. The subject is the part of the sentence that names whom or what the sentence is about, and the predicate is the part of the sentence that says something about the subject, what the subject does, and whatever situation with the subject. Okay, so an example I provided here is I speak English. It is a short sentence, and you see that I is the subject and speak English is the predicate. Okay. And one comment I say here is that to express a complete idea, the sentences need to have at least a subject and a verb, and they are more complete if some other words, phrases, and clauses that define and redefine meaning are added. So I say I speak English, right? I can say I speak, and you have the subject and the verb, and that's a complete thought. You can say I speak, and that's complete. But if you say I speak English, the word English adds more meaning to speak. It adds more meaning to speak, so it makes the sentence clearer. Let's see other examples. Shea often speaks English with her classmates at school in the morning. Now, if you can notice it, Shea is the subject, and the predicate is longer. But you have so many words. You can say Shea speaks and that's all, but you say often, so you're talking about time. English, what she speaks, right? And who with her classmates. And when at school in the morning. You see? So there's a lot of information when you add words properly. Okay? One more. Here you have more words in the subject. The students that listen to them, so you have students. Students always get surprised because of the good pronunciation they have, and that makes sense. But I want to say which students? The students that listen to them, to the people speaking, right? always get surprised because of the good pronunciation they have. If I want, I just say always get surprised. The students always get surprised. But then I need more meaning, so I add more information with other words. Great. In blue, we have the subject. In red, we have the predicate. Next, silence. Here, and I left it for the end, silence is an imperative. An imperative, we use imperatives for commands and instructions and tell you. Here, you, the subject you is understood. You don't need to say you, silence. Well, you can say it, but you don't say it. Silence. Silence, please. The person I'm talking to understands that I'm talking to her or his. Okay? That's the imperative. Okay? One concept we discuss here is that of having complete sentences or incomplete sentences. If any of the subject or the predicate is missing, the sentence is incomplete. So when I say, often speak English with my classmates at school in the morning, you don't have I, you don't have nor any other subject, so it's incomplete. And if you say, the students that listen to us, what about those students? So you didn't say a thing. You see, what is missing for this subject is what we have above. Okay, what other explanations? Okay, this is the same definitions we saw, right? One thing is that simple subject versus complete subject is nothing else than a simple subject is when we take the keyword students, as we were doing at the beginning, and then students is the simple subject of this subject. We do not include the other words that are accompanying it to give more meaning. We just take the essential part, which is students. In the predicate, we have a simple predicate when we use the word, the key word here, which is a verb. So the verb is get. Get is the get surprised. Okay, is the key word here. A complete subject is the whole thing in blue, and a complete predicate is the whole thing in red. But again, if you want to talk about the simple subject, then students. The simple predicate is get surprised. Okay? Some people include only get, because surprise might be considered an adjective, but I decided to include it because this is a verb phrase for me. Okay? Let's continue. We have an exercise here, and this is for practice. I advise you to complete your practice, and then in another video I'll be sending you the answers for this practice. So the members, I'm going to give you an example anyway. The members of the track team have been striving for perfection. So the simple subject is members, which is the key word in the subject. The members of the track team is the subject. Have been striving for perfection. Having striving is the verb. So it is the verb phrase. Okay? That's it. And what I've said is just repeated there. The same with the complete subjects and complete predicates. The Aztec of Mexico, you include all the accompanying words to the key word, and in the subject and in the predicate you do the same. So the Aztecs of Mexico is the complete subject, and the simple subject, if you want to mention it, then it is the Aztecs. Aztecs is the simple subject, and the complete predicate. Okay. Played a game similar to basketball. So here obviously the verb played is the simple predicate. Okay, one other topic that we cover here is the compound subjects and compound predicate. A compound subject is made up of two or more simple subjects that are joined by a conjunction and have the same verb. So we can say students and teachers do their classes online. You see, students and teachers is the compound subject. So let's see the examples they provide in the book. Books and magazines are sold at the new store. Water or soda. Remember, you use a conjunction, right? And or, they are conjunctions. Nor, okay, both and is what we call correlative conjunction. You see? Okay, books and magazines. So you have two nouns here. So they are the two key words in the subject. And the same with neither the bus nor the subway, which is also a correlative conjunction. Neither nor. They mention two nouns here that are the keywords. The same with the other sentence. Let's go on with the compound predicate. The compound predicate doesn't have, remember, the center of the predicate is the verb. So here we have two verbs. Artists draw and paint. This is so simple. Let's see the definition. A compound predicate or a compound verb is made up of two or more verbs or verb phrases that are joined by a conjunction and have the same subject. So the same subject. Books and magazines is one subject, grammatically speaking, okay? Yvette sat on a bench, opened her lunchbox, and ate a sandwich. And Martha accompanied her. So accompany is not part of this sentence because it is Martha, another subject. So in this sentence, we only have Yvette as a subject. Let's move on. So we have more practice here, and I'm going to give you an example. Again, the bird flew out the window and disappeared. So the sentence has two verbs, flew out and disappeared. It is a compound predicate because you have two verbs, flew out and disappeared. Okay? Now we have two exams or two tests for you to take at home. Complete them, and then I'm going to be giving you a response for these two exercises. So enjoy your video, and you can repeat it as many times as you need, and that's a good thing about this of sending you videos. And I'm gonna be sending a second video for the second chapter of this unit. Enjoy it.